The quartet of men returned from the pillager outpost carrying 2 fallen comrades and the artifact they sought. The arrow of Thanea was thousands of years old, and it was said it would point to the tree of Selea. Odds were good that the pillagers didn't even know it was an artifact, or they would have sold it for more than all their other goods combined. Artifacts in the Realm of Vasten are very rare. Only a handful exist, and they are said to gain power from other worlds. No one knows how they work, but if the tales are true, this arrow could guide the group across the frozen wasteland to the home of the Frost Druids.
Return to my home. We will rest the night, then be on our way. I must go speak to the families of these men.
Sage Recon of the Order of Man was the only religious man in the Monument of the Fallen, as the other religions of the world were not represented at this particular village. "We?" Ferdinand Keat asked the sage. "Will you be accompanying us?" Recon looked back at Ferdinand and Thawkins as he walked out the door. There was sadness in his eyes. Both fallen men were married. Hin had a child.
I don't think I will be welcome in my home after news breaks that their trusted sage led 2 men to their deaths.
He paused, thinking for a moment.
Also, the chance to travel to see the tree of Selea does not come that often. I will be traveling with you.
Recon and Quarley left, carrying their makeshift stretchers with Hin and Okel. Thawkins motioned for Ferdinand to have a seat at the table. Pouring a cup of water for both, he looked up at the boy.
"I've led men to their deaths before, both necessary and not. Let's just hope this is the former."
The 2 men sat in silence a long while, watching the sun set. Ferdinand Keat, Ranger Thawkins, and Sage Recon set off the following morning, leaving behind them the sage's home for a few years, Monument to the Fallen. Recon was right. After telling the families of the 2 men killed in the pillager raids, word spread quickly that the sage had led them to their deaths. He was no longer welcome in his home. The journey would be long, but with the arrow of Thanea to guide them, they could find the way to Selea and the Frost Druids. Ferdinand sought help in defeating the Nether. Recon sought knowledge, as do all in the Order of Man. Thawkins' true contract had not yet been revealed. The first day was uneventful. Ferdinand was taken back by the stories told back and forth between the Ranger and the Sage. As the miles were left behind them, so eventually was the sadness of the loss of Hin and Okel. That night they pitched camp on the road. Thawkins left Recon and Ferdinand to set up camp while he hunted for dinner.
What will you do after you find these Arbor Druids?
Recon asked Ferdinand. I'll ask, beg if I need to, for them to come to Port Bray and help.
And what makes you the right one to go and get them?
Ferdinand had no real answer to that. He felt it in his gut. He had been saved by the Frost Druids. He was meant to be the one to bring them into the fight. The next day, the trio made better time. Waking up on a sunny morning, the smell of Thawkins' breakfast pork chops put a smile on all their faces and a little bounce in their step. Thawkins had asked Sage Recon to scout ahead, leaving the Ranger and his apprentice to walk in silence.
"Rangers have to follow their contracts."
Of course.
"No, you don't understand."
Thawkins stopped and looked at him.
"We have to finish our contracts, even when we disagree with them."
Yes, I see. Ferdinand was confused. What was his master getting at?
"You're not officially my apprentice yet, but I'll take you if you want it."
Being a ranger's apprentice and later a ranger was never something Ferdinand had ever dreamt of. But now, after seeing Thawkins work and following him for weeks, it was all he wanted. The Frost Druids might not listen to a boy, but they would have to listen to 2 rangers and a sage.
"The Ranger's pledge isn't something to be taken lightly, Ferdinand."
Thawkins paused, thinking.
"There is no going back."
Ferdinand nodded solemnly. That morning, the boy who left Port Bray to seek out the Frost Druids, with no bigger plan for his life than just bringing them into the war, became a ranger of the House Denau. I, Ferdinand Keat, swear to uphold the laws and honor of the Rangers, to protect this realm from all those who would do it harm, By these words I do bind myself to the servitude of the good and a dispatcher of evil. Should I ever waver or falter in face of any contract, strip me of my honor, my name, and my humanity. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ferdinand. All right. We're getting there. We're getting to the end of the story. We're getting to the end of the Ferdinand story. I believe there's 1 or 2 chapters left in this season. So if you're enjoying the lore of Vasten, I know the lore of the storyline thing, it's not for everybody. I'm trying some new stuff. I'm working on a new sort of way for me to tell a story, to explore the lore of Vasten more. If you're into it, let me know. Tips, suggestions. I'm not very good at Photoshop and things, but I'm getting better a little bit by little. But I'd be happy to take any suggestions. But there were some moving animations and stuff in that one. That was pretty amazing, I think. Anyway, special thank you to my YouTube members and my patrons, which make all of this possible. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, everything stems from you folks. So thank you so much. Everything that we're able to do comes directly from you. So sincerely thank you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. We got probably one more chapter, probably one more big chapter of Ferdinand's story that's going to explain the entire lore of Celea. So we're getting there. Ferdinand's a ranger. How about that? All right. Have a good day.